Hello, fellow freedom-loving Americans! First it was trust the science, right? Now it's not even trust the science anymore. It's obey or we'll punish you and you can't live a normal life. I don't know about you, but I don't plan on obeying. We will not comply! We will not comply! We will not comply! We will not comply!
We will not comply! We will not comply!
Now this is not an anti-V word. For those of you out on the phones, you know if you say the V word or the C word, they put that little special message and they shadow ban you. So it's not even a real V word because a real V word contains a small percentage of the virus. So they talk about the science. I'm going to talk about the science a little bit. I'm not even going to call this one the V word. I'm going to call it the hokey pokey, okay? Because you put your right arm out, they give you the hokey pokey, and it turns your DNA around, okay? And so that's what it does. It's mRNA, it's experimental, it's FDA approved for experimental use only, okay? So it's natural for people to be a little bit hesitant, especially when you hear that 12,000 plus people have died that's reported according to theirs. So you can't blame people for being hesitant. It's not a Republican or a Democrat thing. There's Republicans that got the hokey pokey, and there's Democrats that got the hokey pokey. There's Democrats here today that believe in freedom of choice, and there's Republicans here that believe in freedom of choice. It's not left versus right, it is right versus wrong. They're trying to divide us. They're giving us all the symptoms of communism right now. They try to divide us by race. They try to divide us by class. Now they're trying to divide us by those who got the hokey pokey and those who didn't. Okay? So we're not going to let them divide us. We're going to stand united, whether you got the hokey pokey or not. We still love you. It's still America. This is still a free country for people to choose. Now, I talked about the science a little bit, and they said, well, Mark, you're not a scientist. Okay, well, I don't have to be a scientist in order to read, number one. Number two, I don't have to be a scientist to know what math and probability is. And for people under the age of 65, the probability of surviving is over 99.99%. Okay, it's only those that are over 85 where the percentage is at like a little over 93, which is still high. And then you take those really high survival numbers and then you combine that with the fact that the people that did die have an average of 2.9 other factors, meaning high blood pressure, diabetes, cancer. So that number is even higher. If I'm a healthy person without pre-existing conditions of no other health issues, the probability is horrible, okay? And what really gets me, when I was at a protest for them giving this hokey pokey to the kids, someone from the mainstream media said, well, you know, how come the kids get that in order to get to school? What's the difference? I explained the science to them. So a lot of people don't know that it's mRNA and it's experimental. They hear the V word and they think that that's what it is. It's just like everything else and it's safe, but it's not. People are misinformed. And kids are not lab rats, and that's the chant that I started at that protest because they're trying to experiment with our kids. Kids are not lab rats. 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 Kids are not lab rats.
Kids are not lab rats. Kids are not lab rats. At all costs, protect our children at all costs.
They want to go and force people, and exactly, no NWO, but now they want to force people with their jobs. If you don't get it, then you're going to get fired. Well, I'm not a lawyer, but last time I checked, most employment contracts don't tell you that lab rat is part of the job description, okay? They're not over there, there's never, we've seen this before, where your employer is supposed to tell you to get a medical procedure in order to get employment. So the important thing is, do not quit. If your job is forcing you to get the hokey pokey, do not quit. and make sure they fire you and file a lawsuit and fight back. Do not risk an experiment with your health. Your health is more important than anything else. This is still an experimental vaccine. They want to go and they want to put these things for restaurants and gym owners starting September 13th. Okay? You see in Italy, they had their little ID cards, the people that did get it, and they burned them in solidarity because they realized that forcing it is wrong. The passports are evil.
Burn back your passports.
No green pass.
The passports.
No green pass. No green pass. No green pass. No green pass. No green pass.
That pass is a passport towards communism. If they go and they can decide what you do with your body, if they could force you, what you put into your body, God knows what else they could do. They said this ID card was a conspiracy theory a year ago. They say the RFID chip is a conspiracy theory. If they could force you to get the hokey pokey, they could force you to get an RFID chip. So we need to take a stand now while we still have our freedoms and say enough is enough. When they tried this in other countries, I believe Russia, they were very strict on all these restaurants and everything, enforcing it. And guess what? It lasted about 3 weeks because people stopped showing up. The airlines will lose money, the restaurant businesses will lose money, the gym businesses will lose money, and all of them will be calling their senator, congress member, state representatives and tell them what the hell is going on. I can't stay in business if you keep this nonsense up. So hold the line. They've affected our lives for a year and a half. We can hold the line a few more weeks and tell them to go shove it.
Freedom over fear. Freedom over fear. Freedom over fear.
Freedom over fear. Freedom over fear. Freedom over fear. Freedom over fear.
Freedom over fear. Freedom over fear. Freedom over fear.
My body, my choice.
Your body, your choice.
Your body, your choice.
My body, my choice.
My body, my choice.
Your body, your choice.
Your body, your choice.
Employers, if employers see employees walking out on strike, they're going to stop the nonsense real quick. The point is, hold the line. Don't be intimidated. Don't let them intimidate you. Don't let them make you worry about losing your job or not being able to travel. That's not going to last very long if we all stick together. So make sure you stick together.
Just say no. Just say no.
Just say no. Just say no. Just say no. Just say no. Just say no.
Just say no. Just say no.
Getting back to trusting the science, you could pay off a scientist even easier than you can a politician, okay? They've been paying off scientists since scientists and doctors recommended the healthiest cigarettes out there decades ago, maybe even 100 years ago. You can't trust the science because the science is paid off just like a lot of our politicians are paid off. I decided to run for office at State Assembly last year. I'm running for City Council this year in South Brooklyn. And I did it because I don't trust politicians to do the right thing. And from day one, I said the masks were BS, the hokey pokey was BS, and I'm spreading the message regardless because this isn't about winning an election. I could stay quiet like a lot of politicians do. Put the mask on and be a good little boy. No, I don't care what the media says. What's right, I'm going to do what's right whether I win or lose. You're not going to make me bow down to the media and their nonsense. Defund the media. Defund the media.
Defund the media.
Defund the media. Defund the media.
How you doing?
Did you get a picture of me doing the pledge?
Yeah.
How do I get a hold of you?
You
I
gotta.
remember you.
Yeah,
You were
if-
at Professional
If
Found.
you look, do you have a business card?
No, I don't have it.
If you look on YouTube, look for "Crowdsource the Truth."
Oh, crowdsource. All right. You'll put it up?
It's there right now.
Wow, man. Thank you. Oh, you're always everywhere.
Thank
I
you.
remember you.
Thank you. Good to see you. Thanks.
Wonderful.
It's a huge crowd here
as I
today.
possibly can on the nonsense that's going on.
Hi, Lauren.
All right. So, fellow city council candidate that is also in the fight, my friend Constantine Jean-Pierre, who's running in Brooklyn as well.